Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. I am Melissa. This video is number 4 in the Understanding Gambling Addiction series on this channel. So I hope you've had a chance to view videos 1, 2, and 3 or 1, 2, or 3. If not, that's perfectly fine. As promised in my previous video, I do want to talk a little bit about a gambler's view of money, which we know is totally different from that of a non-gambler. I would also like to say before I get started that I do understand that not everyone is prone to gambling addiction. If gambling is working for you, and if you are having fun and you're able to make it work with no problems, by all means carry on. In no way would I suggest that you stop if you do not have a problem with gambling addiction. For everyone else, if you have a problem or if you know someone with a problem, please do not hesitate to contact the National Council on Problem Gambling. That number is 1-800-522-4700. Now let's jump right in. What we understand about gambling is that it has very little to do with the desire to have money at all. Very little to do with that. If money was the goal for the gambling addict, why, they would be rich, because over time and over the years of gambling, they would have saved some of that money. They would have taken the winnings and just left the building every single time. But we know that that doesn't happen because that is not what comes with the territory when you are a gambling addict. Whenever the addiction of gambling takes over, it does block the individual's ability to be able to think rationally about how their money is being spent. We also know that as long as there is money, the gambling addict will continue to gamble until there is none. And this is called playing to extinction, when you have gambled yourself to the point where you have absolutely nothing left. And of course, the effect of this is not felt when the addict is in the gaming establishment playing. The effect of this is felt when the gambling addict leaves the establishment and realizes the damage that they've done. If you think about it, when a drug addict pays for drugs, they leave with the drugs that they paid for. When an alcoholic pays for drugs, they leave with the alcohol that they paid for. Now, in no way am I suggesting that this is a good thing. But I do want to try to make the point that when a gambling addict pays to gamble, the gambler often leaves with absolutely nothing. And the reason is because the addiction of gambling itself causes the gambler not to be able to stop the play, and the money or the winnings or the prize is what's required to continue feeding the habit of gambling addiction. So this in turn means that whatever the gambler wins, whatever their prize is, they're going to walk out of that casino without it because their addiction is calling for that money to be returned into the system. Now, this is always going to put the gambler at a disadvantage, at a no-win situation, very similar to a hamster on a wheel, just going around and around in that same repetitive cycle, unable to get off of the wheel, doing the same thing over and over again. Now, in the mind of the gambler, the money's going to always return. There is no concept to the gambler of exactly how many times this thinking has failed them. You know, over and over you think it's coming back, and it never comes back. And even if it does come back, if you are an addict, you're going to put it right back in the system. So it doesn't matter that the money comes back because you're going to play it back again. When these constant losses have stacked up against the gambler, and these losses have become so intense, the only thing that's going to even the playing field is for the gambler to hit a huge win or a jackpot. Now, even if this happens, very rarely is it going to cover all of the losses that have stacked up over time. It's very rare that's going to do that. So the mind of the gambler then begins to scramble for a plan. And then the gambler will think, well, if I don't get that big hit, that's fine. I'll get it back in small increments until I've gotten all of the money back. I'll just play and take a little more of my winnings off and play and take a little more of my winnings off until I've gotten everything back. Now, the problem with this kind of thinking is, as I have stated before, every time that gambler returns to that gaming establishment, there's a bigger risk to continue to feed the habit, making it harder to stop, making the losses continue to pile up, and making the losses impossible to ever retrieve. So the gambler's going to think about that $200 that they just lost last weekend, but they aren't going to think about the $600 that they lost 3 weeks ago, or the $1,000 that they lost last month, or the $10,000 total that they lost throughout the course of the year. The gambler's not going to think about all of that, but they're going to continue to wait on that big payout, and they're going to feel like, the more money I put on it, the more money, the more chance that I have at winning my money back. The more I put on, I'm going to force it to play. The gambler has this idea that they can make the machines play. Again, that concept that I'm going to make it play if I just put on more money, and the machine just continues to eat the money away. Some gamblers even feel like they cannot leave their machine. If they walk away from that machine, the minute they walk away from that machine's going to pay out, and then they are going to lose everything that they put into it. And again, this thinking has failed us miserably over time, and it's just not a rational way of thinking when it comes to how you want to spend your money. There's a willingness for the gambler to bet the last dime, because there's such a hope in gambling for the addict that this thing is going to eventually work for them if they stick with it until the end. But I want you to remember again, I cannot stress to you enough how often these ideas, these thoughts have failed you, because these feelings filter into other areas of your life, and they make your life miserable long after you walk out of that casino. These ideas will leave you hopeless, and not only in your financial life, but in many areas of your life. You can lose relationships, time, money, your home, your car. Everything that you worked so hard for can just be swept away if you cannot begin to learn to change your thinking. Now, believe it or not, quite a few gamblers are frugal outside of the gaming establishment. How many times have you seen an item that you wanted online or in a catalog or, wherever, and, you didn't get it because you felt like, well, that's a little bit too much. I'm not spending that kind of money on that. Yet you've gone to the casino and you spent and lost 3 times as much money as that one item costed. And you took that same amount of money that you could have used to purchase this thing that you wanted, and you lost it times 3 in the gaming establishment. It's really a sad state of affairs. But once that money is lost, the gambler begins to think about everything that they could have done with that money, everything that they could have used that money for. And by this time, again, it's just too late. The money is gone, and there is no guarantee that you will get it back. The gambling addict has no concept of time and money spent during the gambling binge. It's as if you are in a trance state with no ability at all to control your play. So I do want to say in conclusion that most gamblers will tell you that after reviewing the history of their gambling habits, that there is not now nor has there ever been any real progress or development in their financial lives or their personal lives. Despite many, many years of gambling, their financial lives are still left in shambles and ruins, and the losses have stacked up to be way more than just thousands and thousands of dollars over time. While gambling addiction is a progressive disorder, there is no positive progression in the act of gambling itself. Now, gambling is progressive in the sense that it will continue to build and grow into a larger problem if you do not get it under control. But it certainly will not build or grow your finances over time. So it's not progressive in that sense, but it's progressive in the sense that it will grow larger. And I do want to say again, if there is gambling of any kind in your state, there has to be help for gambling addiction, or you may feel free to call the National Council on Problem Gambling at 1-800-522-4700. Thank you all for tuning into this video. Please stay tuned for the next video, Gambling Addiction, a Mixture of Truth and Lies. I think that one's going to be really, really interesting. Please stay tuned for that. Please subscribe for more great videos. And I really appreciate you coming to the channel and viewing this series and the other videos that I have, because I try to keep some level of motivation going on this channel. So please subscribe for more great videos. Please like this video if it's helped you in any way. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you and good luck on your journey and your life. God bless.